phonetica or pronunciation. Pronunciation and spelling. The good news first. Italian spelling is very regular and entirely predictable. Each sound of the language is represented by a specific letter or a cluster of letters. And this will always be the case for every word of the language. This is not the case in English, where you come across clusters of letters that are pronounced differently based on the history of the language or the evolution of the language. But English, as everybody knows, is very unpredictable. Now, let's go to Italian. Phonetica. The significant difficulty, so to speak, is represented by two letters, the letter C and the letter G. We are going to look at the letter C only because G follows exactly the same rules. So once we learn how to handle the letter C, the same rules will apply to the letter G. Let's go and start with the case of these sounds. Ka, ko, ku. We call this hard sound K, and we represent it with the letter K, which in Italian does not exist. But we are going to use the letter K to represent K. However, in front of A and E, in front of the letter A and the letter E, the letter C sounds like ch. We can get into the reasons why, but for the time being, let's just look at ka, ko, ku. C precedes these three vowels, is pronounced K, 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 but in front of A and E, it is pronounced ch. So let's remember this very first thing. Ka, ko, ku, che, chi. Now we have ka, ko, ku up here, and che, chi. Now, we want to pronounce ke, ki. Those are sounds that are present in Italian language. How do we represent those sounds? If we were to use this particular representation, well, we know that the sound here is ch. And here is the confusion, and it's the only point that is relatively confusing. In order to pronounce K in front of A and E, Italians write it this way. Che, chi. It is confusing because this is the representation of ch in English, the sound ch. But, again, in Italian, to produce the sound K in front of A and E, we insert the letter H. So here you have ka, ko, ku, ke, ki. And we'll see later very quickly, the very same rule applies to the letter G. Now, here we have che, chi. Let's go here, and we write che, chi. And the sound is ch. How do we obtain the same sound? How do we represent the same sound ch in front of o, a, u? How do we represent the sound ch in front of o, a, u? We insert the letter E. I hope it's clear. So with ko, ka, ku, if we want to maintain the same sound k with the other two vowels, we have to write ke, ki with an H. Now the opposite, we have che, chi, and we want to represent the sound ch in front of o, a, u. Like this, we have to insert e, and this becomes cho, cha, chu. These are graphic conventions. We all agree in Italy that that's the way we're going to write these sounds. So every word that contains one of these sounds in Italian will be represented exactly like this. Ka, ko, ku, ke, ki. Che, chi, cho, cha, chu. And here is a different explanation of the exact same phenomenon in a different way. Let's see. Ka, ko, ku, or more precisely a, o, u, are so-called back vowels. They are pronounced in the back of your throat. If you pronounce it now, a, o, u, and you locate the pronunciation, you know they happen in the back of the throat. A, e, instead, again, pay attention to where you pronounce it, they are in the front. So they're called front vowels. So we can write some sort of a phonetic rule that with back vowels, a, o, u, behave differently than front vowels, a, e. When we want to pronounce the letter C as k in front of a, o, u, all we need to do is write C, ka, ko, ku. With a and e, we need to add an H. Again, here we are with back vowels and front vowels, o, a, u, a, e. And now we want to obtain the sound ch, or one way to write it in phonetics is with a little V on top. Let's start from the bottom. Front vowels, the sound ch, we write the letter C in front. Back vowels, we write C and then we insert E. Now, letter G is identical, so you will expect ga, go, gu, and for ge, gi, yes, we insert an H. Now you know how to spell Lamborghini. Spaghetti, spaghetti, ge, spaghetti. Let's go to G with the sound of J, and we start with J, yes, gelato, of course. About G, Gino. Everybody knows a restaurant called Gino in America, or Gino's, okay? And now we write ja, jo, and ju. And now a few examples. Ka, ko, ku, casa, Como, like Lake Como, and cubo. And for keiki, orchestra, a word that you should recognize from English. Che, orchestra, and chimica. And now with the sound ch, che, centimetro, Cina, as in China, ciao, cioccolato, notice cho and co, ciu, acciuga, the the little fish you don't want on your pizza. Anchovies. Acciuga. A sound that can present some problems is the sound sh in Italiano. In English, we use S and H to represent the sound of a word like shoe, although English has different ways, more than one way, of representing this sound. In Italian, there is only one way. Again, Italian, a phonetic language, if we want to represent a sound, there is only one way. And here is the sound sh in front of the various vowels. She, she, sha, sho, shu. So all we have to do is memorize how these particular syllables are written, and then we have the whole list of sounds. Now, if we want to get a little more analytical, we can take these sounds and we can break them down and see what are the components. So we take she, and we can say that she is composed of the sound S followed by the sound ch. You remember that we have just saw how to write the sound ch in Italian with the various vowels attached to that. So let's look at the next one. She, we will see that again it is S followed by the sound ch and then by the sound e. She, she. Again, we take sha, and you will not be surprised to see that again it is the sound ch the way we write it in front of a. And again the same thing appears with cho, sho. And of course we're going to finish with shu. S plus ch followed by the sound u. So whoever decided, it wasn't just one person, it took centuries, but whoever decided that they were going to represent the sound sh in Italian said, okay, why don't we do this? Let's take the syllables with the sound ch followed by the various vowels, and let's put an S in front. So if we want to represent it with a formula, we could say that S plus ch plus vowel equals the various sounds of sh. She, she, sha, sho, shu. And it's done. And here is the hardest sound for non-Italians to pronounce, even to hear it sometimes. It is the sound y. And here is how it works. GL represents the sound y. Y, and then for ye, it's y plus e, ye. Ya, it's y plus a. Yo, y plus o. You, y plus u. So y plus whatever vowel.